It is possible to beat depression. That is what they don't want you to know. That is what the devil wants you to think. It has taken me a lot to get to this point right here. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Misha. I wanted to have a new upload for Mother's Day, but there was a family situation that happened. And I'm trying to make this as quick as possible because my daughter is going crazy today. I'm here to tell my testimony, but also give you 4 tips and advice that you can take with you and maybe share with someone you know that may need this. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's actually divine timing because this was on my list of videos that I wanted to create in light of speaking to women like me who are new moms. I hope you enjoy today's video and the next one coming up. Quick story: when I was younger, I did get diagnosed with depression. I just lost motivation to do anything. Like, I went from being a straight A student to failing all of my classes, and I did go through a couple things. So I was grieving my grandmother. We also moved to a whole new town that was maybe 40 minutes away from where I technically grew up. Grieving a grandparent, not even really knowing what that is or what you're supposed to feel like. And looking back now, that was one of the main factors of it all. And then my parents were also on the verge of a major divorce. So it was a lot going on in the home, a little bit of emptiness because I did live with my grandmother, and so she was no longer around in the house. After she passed, it was just a different dynamic in the home. Being in school, trying to make new friends, and I literally went from an urban neighborhood to the suburbs. Moving to the suburbs meant that the curriculum changed and was much faster than where I was from, so that was pretty hard to not understand why I'm not getting it, why I'm not keeping up. Then also, I was a little discouraged that my grades were actually not good anymore. It was a lot for an 8th grader, right? Thankfully, in the evaluation, they didn't see anything wrong. They just recommended therapy, and through therapy, I was able to walk through my emotions. On my journey into high school, I decided to do something about it. I decided to wake up every morning and read my Bible at 5 a.m. before catching the bus and going to school. And eventually, I realized I was no longer in a depression. And that was my first experience with doing something about it on my own terms. I actually took initiative to get out of whatever lack of motivation I was feeling. Then it hit me. I thought because I got rid of it, right, at the time, or I did something that made it go away, that it would never come back. That's the misconception of fighting depression, is that it can always come back. When you're dealing with depression, you have to understand what the root of it is. Like, now I can look back and say, okay, I was depressed, but it wasn't just depression, it was grief. Handle that. Grief of my parents getting divorced. Handle that and heal from that situation and talk with them about it. You have to really catch it at the root to understand what it is. And that's very important so that you can combat it. Depression has so many hats, and I would hate for you to claim postpartum as your form of depression or your type of depression when it's really other things, or it's a mixture of other things. And I just see postpartum as one specific type of depression where you're resenting being a mom. That is very much so a thing. Trust me, the devil wants you to claim it. It's not worth claiming. The second tip and advice I have is to not be avoidant. Just even little things. It doesn't have to be emotionally, whether it's a pile of things in the corner of your room or something you've been saying you've been meaning to do related to your child or yourself, doing something for yourself, avoiding a situation or a conversation, things like that at the time may feel like, okay, I'm protecting my peace and I need to just put it off. This is one of the things I learned when fighting my depression in the first place is I was putting so many things off, and it made me such a procrastinator that till this day I'm kind of fighting those bad habits of procrastination. And I think it stemmed from that time. And so being avoidant is just like being a procrastinator. You don't want to bring that type of energy into your life because you're going to get anxiety. You're going to have anxiety and depression, which is the worst combination because now you don't know how to deal with the depression you're feeling. And when you're at a low place or you're in a dark mood, those are the things that you need to make an effort to do because that's what's going to get you out of it quicker. This one is hard because it's easier said than done. Stay away from any kind of misery. Now, we all know misery loves company, right? Try your very best to keep miserable energy away from you because it is not going to help you. And when I say miserable, I mean people that are maybe a trauma bond for you. Even what you watch on television, don't even watch stuff that's miserable or stories that are maybe nonfiction or fiction, things that kind of can trigger your depression or just pour into that part of the cup that you don't want that in your life. You don't want that energy around you. You don't want it in the people around you. And it's always disguised as, oh, I'm going through the same thing as you. And then you create this bond, but that's just miserable. And you guys have to have discernment. Anyway, last thing I have here for you today is to journal your weekly state of mind. This is something that personally on my postpartum journey, I was gratefully able to write down things that I was feeling on a weekly basis. Weekly woes, I gave it a cool title, but when I actually look at what it was I said each week, there were some weeks that I was like, I was out of it. And then the next week I would be on a high. And then it was just a lot of up and down. There was just a lot of up and downs. Now that she's 15 months, I decided to only do it on a monthly basis if I can. I suggest you get some kind of agenda or calendar like this one. It's the second one I've had in this collection. The brand, the Every Girl for a Day Designer. I got it at Target, but I had the one for 2024, loved it. And this was my one from 2025. It has some prompts for you to create your own goals. For instance, July, they recommend you do a hobbies challenge, or in August, a style challenge. In May, they say mental health, prioritize personal well-being. So they kind of curate it based on how people are probably feeling throughout the different months of the year. I use this, and it's very hard for me to finish journals and agendas and calendars, but I do love it, and it has really nice quotes and things like that to look at each month. It's also good to get you some books just that you can read. I have two from this author. Her name is Lisa. This is the 50 devotions to find redemption in every part of your story. And this one is called Seeing Beautiful Again. Now, it was nice reading this. I didn't really relate to much of her story, and I actually am not even done with it. I would only read maybe a chapter at a time when I felt spiritually low. She basically, not to give a spoiler, was facing cancer, I believe, and she's just demonstrating her life in ways where she's trying to see beautiful again and find the beauty in her story. She's a God-fearing woman. So in this book, there will be a scripture themed with whatever story she has for that chapter, whether you're postpartum or not. It is something you have to face, but you can definitely beat it, and you don't have to claim anything because it's convenient to do so. You don't have to have resentment or be ungrateful of your experience. I don't think that it's fair for new moms who are going through that to be all put under this one umbrella, because it very much so is that for some people. And that's something that I pray on every day, because that is a very unfortunate type of depression. You could be going through so many other different types of depression. And if you're going through other things that are causing you depression, please understand that it's okay to separate all of those things. The devil wants to attack every single day, especially new moms. And I think that's very important to find ways to keep your spirit lifted. So, if you are a person who has dealt with any kind of depression, maybe you don't know if you have or not, but you felt these low moments in your spirit, going through postpartum may be overwhelming, or you're not sure what it is you're feeling, please know that the devil is trying to attack, but it's okay because you're going to beat it. And knowing that it can come back means that you have to understand where it's coming from, get to the root of it. And I really do hope that my tips and advice can help someone that is probably going through this. I thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up so that it reaches more people, and subscribe if you have not already. The next one won't be as depressing, no pun intended. My daughter is freaking out and she is having a day. The devil works really hard, overtime, matter of fact, and God works harder. But whatever you do, do not judge my nails, please. And so, thanks.